Coming up on 5 Minute News. 40 migrants killed in fire at Mexico detention center. Judge rules Mike Pence should testify before grand jury. And Tennessee congressman says we're not going to fix school shootings. It's Wednesday, March 29. I'm Anthony Davis. Fearing deportation, migrants set mattresses ablaze at an immigration center in northern Mexico, starting a fire that killed at least 40 people, the president said on Tuesday, in one of the deadliest events ever at a Mexican immigration lockup. Hours after the fire broke out late Monday, rows of bodies were laid out under silver sheets outside the facility across from El Paso, Texas, and a major crossing point for migrants. Ambulances, firefighters, and vans from the morgue swarmed the scene. 29 people were injured and are in delicate, serious condition, according to the National Immigration Institute. At the time of the blaze, 68 men from Central and South America were being held at the facility. Immigration authorities identified the dead and injured as being from Guatemala, Honduras, El Salvador, Venezuela, Colombia, and Ecuador, with Guatemalans being the largest contingent, according to a statement from the Mexican Attorney General's office. Mexico President Andrés Manuel López Obrador said the fire was started by migrants in protest after learning they would be deported. They never imagined that this would cause this terrible misfortune, he said, adding that the director of the country's immigration agency was on the scene. The detention facility is just a short walk from the U.S. border and across the street from City Hall. At the facility's doors, Venezuelan migrants gathered to demand information about relatives. A federal judge has ruled that former Vice President Mike Pence will have to testify before a grand jury in the Justice Department's investigation into efforts by the disgraced former President Donald Trump and his allies to overturn the results of the 2020 election. It's reported that Pence would not have to answer questions about his actions on January 6, when a mob of Trump supporters stormed the Capitol building as Pence was presiding over a joint session of Congress to certify Joe Biden's victory. But he would have to testify about any potential illegal acts committed by the former president. Pence and his attorneys had cited constitutional grounds in challenging the grand jury's subpoena. They argued that because he was serving in his capacity as President of the Senate that day, he was protected from being forced to testify under the Constitution's speech or debate clause, which is intended to protect members of Congress from questioning about official legislative acts. Trump's lawyers had also objected to Pence complying, citing executive privilege. Pence's team is evaluating whether it will appeal. The sealed ruling from U.S. District Judge James Boasberg set up the unprecedented scenario of a former vice president being compelled to give potentially damaging testimony against the president he once served. And it comes as Pence has been inching closer to announcing a run for the 2024 Republican presidential nomination, a decision that would put him in direct competition with his former boss. After the latest massacre of school children in the United States, the Republican congressman Tim Burchett answered the question Americans have all but given up asking of their elected officials by telling reporters, "We're not going to fix it." The three-term congressman from Tennessee, the state where an intruder fatally shot 3 9-year-old students and 3 adults at a small Christian school on Monday, appeared to compare the expectation of safety for American schoolchildren with that of soldiers fighting Japanese suicide attackers during the Second World War. "It's a horrible, horrible situation, and we're not going to fix it," Burchett said. Asked whether there was a role for Congress to play in preventing tragedies that are exceedingly common in the US while being exceedingly rare in the rest of the world, Burchett responded, "I don't see any real role that we could do other than mess things up. Honestly, I don't think you're going to stop the gun violence." Burchett has introduced one piece of legislation related to public safety during his tenure in Congress, the 2019 Unmasking Antifa Act. The bill sought to create a new criminal civil rights violation for wearing a disguise while interfering with another person's exercise of a protected right or privilege. Had it passed, the bill would have punished people committing crimes while wearing masks with prison sentences of up to 15 years. Republicans, including Tennessee Governor Bill Lee, have been accused of hypocrisy for providing their condolences following Monday's shooting, but refusing to support gun safety measures. You can subscribe to the 5-Minute News Patreon for bonus videos, commentary, and more. Go to patreon.com/5minutenews.